Want to give it just a few minutes to make sure that we're actually streaming. Sometimes the YouTube app is a bit laggy. All right, guys. Well, looks like we have 10 people in here already. Really appreciate you guys coming by and hanging out. It's a Saturday morning. I'm here in front of the shop. And as you can hear, we got some little kids across the parking lot there at little community park. There's some swing sets over there, a little barbecue pit, I think. A bunch of dog trails that go way, way out there. Way out there. So I'm kind of, it's about an hour before we open, and honestly, I'm just enjoying the sunshine, and I thought we'd start the stream from out here and just see where it goes. Looks like we lost a few people already. Wow, that's great. Okay, let's see who we got in chat. Pardon my finger if you see it. Looks like we got Natural Aquariums was first in here. Right on, Natural Aquariums, appreciate it. We got QC Aquaholics. We got, who else we got? Gina French, what's going on, Gina French? Appreciate you coming by. Sharpies, what is going on, buddy? Appreciate you stopping by. I missed your stream, last couple of them. I've been super, super busy. Apologies for that. Ahoy, fish nerds, indeed. Who else we got in here? Let's see. Hey, we got My Fish Tanks Aquatics. What's up, fish folks? What's going on there, buddy? Appreciate you coming by. Rico Stan, what's going on, man? You've been a madman with your live streams and your video production recently, man. You've been killing it. Good work. And we got the Zen Ginger. Right on. Always appreciate a Blue Wrench, a very kind-hearted Blue Wrench coming by to keep things moving, keep things clean, all that good stuff. Keep out the trolls. You don't need no stinking trolls. Well, guys, hey, looks like, is that ZI Zip? ZI Zip? Appreciate you coming by. Thanks for stopping into the stream. We got the Secret History. What's up, Alex? Buddy, how you doing, man? We're just getting, like I said, getting a few last moments of some beautiful, beautiful sunshine. It's a gorgeous day. Let me show it off. We don't get too many days this gorgeous out here, so see that my corrective glasses are darkening over. It's so bright out here. I got some of those, you know, they get darker. Old man glasses. Let's see if I can share the sights with you guys. As you can see, blue, blue, blue skies today. Shaping up to be a gorgeous day. It's actually pretty chilly out here. It was, I think it was 48, 49 degrees this morning when I woke up outside. So that's pretty chilly for this time of year. All right, let's get started, guys. As you can see, hey, Peplin Creek Aquatics, appreciate that, buddy. And that 99-cent super sticker is the bomb. Appreciate it, man. Means very much to me. So you can see the lights are still off. Everyone's still sleeping. I'm not going to turn them on this time. Everyone's kind of crashed out. Make sure that's locked. There's like some kind of event way out there, way on the front part of the, you know, when you pull into the property, and it looks like it's some kind of a flea market or some kind of a swap or something, which is, I don't know what's going on. Oh yeah, this came in like right before I closed yesterday. We got some boxes in. I actually don't know what it is. I was so tired. Excuse me. I was so tired at the end of yesterday that I just thought, well, I'll deal with it tomorrow. So we can do kind of an impromptu unboxing, I guess. Be really careful, I don't want to cut through it. damage whatever it is. What do we have? Bubble wrap, a whole box of it. No, I'm just joking. Oh, we got a bunch of Brightwell. Right on. Brightwell stuff. Fertilizers. See what we got here. Oh, right on. You guys can kind of live vicariously. Hey, Jay Olivers, what's going on, man? Danikin, we got Natural Aquariums, and kind of scrolling real quick. Charlie Bright, what's up, Charlie Bright? Lando Lakes, Florida. Hey, ES, we got Ms. Silverwing in here, and Carmos Creations, Aqua Balls. Right on, guys. I really appreciate y'all coming by. If I missed anybody, I apologize. No, you guys can live vicariously through me a little bit here. Right on. Sarah, Catappa leaves. Been wanting to try this product. I like Sarah. Good stuff. We got some of the medium. Oh yes, good old Piscean Energetics. This is an awesome food, guys. That is my signature food that I absolutely endorse. I've seen amazing results with the stuff. All right, move that stuff out of the way. Oh, sweet. We got extra large Catappa leaves. Nice. Nice, very nice. Hey, really appreciate that. Alex got a $5 super chat from my buddy Alex over at The Secret History, and he says, how much do I need to release some dojo loaches? How much do I need to release some dojo loaches in that pond over there? You'll have less duck poo in about 18 months. You know what? We have a huge pond, and I bet you some dojo loaches would be very, very happy. Really happy in that big old pond that we have. Uh-oh, we have a Catappa leaf avalanche here. Oh, well, whatever. I got to get it out and price it anyways. Kind of got to see what else I got going on in here. I didn't mean for this to turn into like a full-blown unboxing at all. No, I really appreciate that, Alex. That's very kind of you, man. All right. What is this? A box in a box. It's the mystery of the never-ending, you know, boxes, like those nesting dolls from Russia, you know, that never ends. It's a box and a box and a box and a box. And then in the middle of it, it's like, I don't know, a pea or something. A lima bean. Oh, sweet. All right, guys. Yeah, this has been very, very difficult to get. Looks like they got squished, but I don't care. This is a huge industrial-sized vat of General Cure. A Russian Bride, exactly. It looks like this one definitely got mashed up pretty good. But again, this is for internal use. And you know what it means, guys, when I pull out these big containers of meds. You know what that means. That means that we have a big old batch of fish coming in on an import. Sweet. Yeah, that is very, very good news, because let me tell you guys, getting this stuff in like the last, I don't know, 4 months, maybe more, has been nigh impossible, has been pretty much not going to happen. Pretty much not going to happen. And that's because manufacturing was retooled to start creating other kinds of meds you know. See, what do we got in here? Hey, fisheye on Tactics. All right, all right. Didn't realize you were in here, buddy. Sorry I missed you at first. Oh, I know what this is, just from the shape of the package. Let me see if you guys can guess. It's a product, a great product, with a very, very, God almighty, man. What kind of tape is this? Freaking Teflon tape or something? Hold on. Urgh. Man. All right, guys. This is a product with a very, very distinctively shaped package. Hey, look at that. Zen Ginger got it. We didn't even get to start the game before Zen Ginger got it. Scrimp King. Scrimp King. Yeah, the old 5-leaf mix. I think we got some. Oh, yeah, this is my favorite. Shrimp King Complete. This stuff is awesome, man. Well, that's good. That has been very, very, very difficult to get recently. Oh, sweet. Looks like they're making up on something they were supposed to send me before and I never got. Well, this is a very, very cool shipment. This stuff was badly needed. Like I say, you know what this means. Fish inbound soon. And that is indeed what's going to happen. Let me put away this thing. Sorry, I'm holding a camera with one hand and working with the other. Leaf Mix Life. Exactly, fisheye on Tactics. I didn't choose Leaf Mix Life. Leaf Mix Life chose me. That doesn't sound right. All right, hold on. Let me put this stuff up. I always crack into the packages and see if anything's incredibly jacked up, and it's not. It's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10. That's correct. Right on. All right, let me throw these back in here. We got some maniacal laughing from my buddy Fisheye on. He's always up to good things when that happens. All right. Let me just clean up a wee bit here. Hey, look at that photo. You know what that reminds me of? My buddy Dannykin Aquatics, his logo for Fish Tube. I always think of Dannykin when I see them discus. Yeah, Zen Ginger, I still do have a few of them, very few. Let's see. The lights are off. Let's see if you can even see them. They're still sleeping. Here we go. You see them in there? Ooh, bad reflection. Sorry, guys. That's them. You totally cannot tell that they're long-finned at all, but they are indeed very, very long-finned. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have a dozen. Looks like I have just a dozen left. Yeah, that doesn't really surprise me, Alex. Alex says that he still has his 3 double veil tail neon tetras and they haven't spawned at all, and it doesn't really surprise me. They're a challenging neon tetra to keep. It sounds crazy to say, but man, they're just really delicate. They do not ship well at all. They don't handle stress very well. You know, it's one of those fish, one of them fish. All right. So let's get the show started. Try to stop making you guys dizzy here in a second. It's kind of cool. We got a surprise. We got a surprise unboxing there that we didn't. I didn't expect. I totally forgot that stuff was sitting there. All right, man. All right, man. Oh, right on. You still got them as well. Dannykin Aquatics says he's got his for sure. Yeah, probably to breed those neons successfully, you're gonna want rainwater, basically. I'm pretty sure that's how they're breeding these, you know, back in the Czech Republic. Rainwater, you know, nothing but rainwater, pure rainwater. Let it slowly acidify, let waste and what have you. Probably throw a bunch of catappa leaves, woods in there, lots and lots of it, and just slowly, you know, don't do any water changes, anything like that. And just over time, you will eventually get that pH to get lower and lower and lower, and you know, which is great. You know, ammonia is not going to ever be a problem with pH down, you know, 4.5, you know, to 5, which is basically where neons and cardinals naturally breed. They breed in water that is very, very acidic, extremely so, and basically virtually pure water, other than tannic acids and, you know, tannins and water. It's basically pure water. It's just really, really dark. It looks like tea, kind of like coffee. That's just perfect water to breed those guys. And if you could reproduce that water, Alex, I bet you'd have those guys popping eggs like crazy, left, right, and center. It's just getting that water without using chemicals can be challenging. It takes time. But anyway, hey, we got Dragon Lair in here. What's up, buddy? Oh, pH is 7.5. Well, you know what? That's Zen. That's great for a whole lot of fish. I mean, basically, man, virtually all of the fish that I have in here in this shop, I mean, my water, I keep it 7.0 to 7.1. It dances between that. I try to keep neutral water. And my TDS, I work with RO water, and I do remineralize my water. I mix it back up to a GH of about 2, a KH of 1. TDS is like 80. So it's really, really soft. But with that said, because I keep the fish at a neutral pH, it's not at all difficult or even dangerous to move those fish at a neutral pH up or down. With that said, if your pH is 7.5, there are tons of fish. Virtually all the fish that I have in the shop would be fine in your water. Now, they might not breed. In fact, most apistogrammas are not going to breed in that. But if you want to keep fish, well, that's one thing. Breeding fish is another. So I wouldn't worry too much about your water, you know, pH 7.5. You know, to be honest with you guys, I'll probably get some thumbs downs for this and dislikes and what have you, some hate mail. I never, ever measure pH, ever. I don't care about it because I know what my water is going to do. I know, let me get that hat off. It looks goofy. At least turn around backwards. That's better. I know what my water is going to do. When it's RO water, you know, my TDS of my RO water, and it is RO water, it's just not pure water. I use a big commercial RO unit, and my TDS out of that is about 15, 1.5, not 50, but 15, 1.5. And is that pure water? Of course not. It's not pure. It would have a TDS of 0. So it's close enough though, and it's not so pure to where that pure RO water starts, you know, pulling CO2 out of the air and naturally forming tons of carbonic acid and rocking the pH really low if you don't hurry up and mineralize it. I don't want water that pure. I don't want water so pure that it does literally that. Like, it's super pure water. It's gonna pull CO2 out of the atmosphere and it's gonna form carbonic acid, right? And because it's pure water, there's no carbonate whatsoever. That's gonna rock the pH of that water from 7.0 down to 5.0 or lower in a span of hours. Trust me, it'll do it. So I don't want to start with water that pure because I don't want that to happen. So, you know, you can really work with whatever you have to work with, as long as, you know, you're within reason. Don't import, you know, super rare wild caught discus if you have, you know, water like you get in Texas or in California. It's not going to work well. But there are a whole lot of other fish that you can play with. That said, I don't measure pH because I know exactly what it's going to do. I know that whenever I've worked with my remineralizers that I like enough, I know exactly what it's going to do when I throw, you know, basically I use, let me show you guys. I don't know how we got off on this tangent, but screw it, we're on it. Pardon me. Okay, this is full of water. This is my IBC tote in the shop. This is my water plant. Okay, it's totally full. In fact, it's over full. You can see the water is actually touching this seam, which is not recommended. There's only so much weight that these cages can hold. Anyway, I went for broke, made a ton of water. Now, in this entire thing, okay, this entire thing of water, full to the top. I use one of these. This is Aqua Vitro mineralized. This is their GH. You see, this is their general hardness additive, and this is exactly 150 mils, right? I use one of these full, blub, 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 until it's empty. And then I throw it away. Just like that, usually. In fact, I have a whole pile of them here that I have to clean up. And then I use Aqua Vitro's carbonate hardness booster. It's the other side of that product. This is their general hardness booster liquid, and this is their carbonate booster liquid. Now I use 150 mils of that. I use 25 mils of this, 25 mils. So it's basically, if you think about it, the ratio is 6 to 1. So I use 150 mils and only 25 mils of this in this whole thing, So that should tell you how soft I keep the water here, and that, you know, that I don't want to put too much carbonate in there. I don't want to rock the pH up unnecessarily high. A lot of the fish that I import and I deal with come from water that's right at about 7.1, and the TDS is about 100, 110 out of the bag. So it works perfect. So with all that said, I know what I add, I know how much I add. I've already measured it in the past several times, and I know exactly what the pH is going to be, the resultant pH of that water. I'm done with pH. I just stick to what works with me, what works for me rather, and just throw the pH test kit, you know, in your closet, just whatever. You still have one, but I don't worry about pH because I've already measured all that, and I know, you know, I know, for instance, that if I have a tank and I fill it with water and the pH of that water, let's say TDS is, let's say 120, right? Which is anything above 120, you should start worrying about for an aquascape. I start injecting CO2 in that. I know that that pH is going to go down from 7.2, maybe 7.3. Over the next couple of hours, that pH is going to go down no matter what, from 7.2, 7.3. It's going to go down to about 6.9, maybe 6.8, maybe 7.0, but I can usually drop it lower than that. Why? Because I'm injecting carbon dioxide, and there's no way to get around the fact that carbonic acid is going to be formed, and carbonic acid is a weak acid. It's going to pull the pH of that water down. So if you know these things, pH, SMEH, whatever. I mean, there are times you definitely want to check your pH, especially when you're breeding. But, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, sorry for the tangent. We were going to talk in this episode about not so much aquarium plant fertilizers, but choosing the aquarium plant fertilizer system that works for you. Forget brand names, okay? We're not talking about brand names. ADA, Brighty K, Neutral K versus Tropica, Specialized, Premium, whatever. We're not talking about brands at all. We're talking about systems. And there are basically really 3 systems now. We'll go into all 3, and I'll kind of touch on each one a little bit. And you guys, please join in and chat. And if you're watching this video after chat, please make sure to drop me a comment below, chime in, give me your opinion on this situation. So the first type of aquarium fertilizers that are typically used today, it's no-brainer stuff. All-in-ones, right? All-inclusive, all-in-ones, which sounds great. And in certain situations, in fact, 2 situations, it is great. All-in-ones are fine for 2 scenarios. One of them is a nano aquarium. So when we're talking like a nano aquarium, like a 5-gallon aquarium, right? So you guys know most fertilizer systems, not fertilizer brands, but systems, you get so many ppm of nitrogen and phosphorus and potassium and traces and iron and blah, 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 all this other stuff. You get so much of a bump in that per teaspoon or per pump or per whatever unit of measurement you're working with. That's very convenient if you, well, no matter what, it's really convenient. Just say, oh, I'm gonna let me just measure it with nitrogen and go on about your day. Well, that works good, and it's in fact recommended if you have a nano aquarium. So when you have like a 5-gallon aquarium, it's going to be very difficult to use most like other methods like EI. We're going to talk about that in a minute, because it takes being off very little on your dosing to knock a 5-gallon aquarium's water parameters way off. I mean, you just have to be just a touch off, just a touch, and you're going to be totally way off. So for nano aquariums, as long as you're not using an all-in-one fertilizer that's really like concentrated, like if it's a pump system, like you just pump whatever. Tropica system, I know we're not going to talk about brand, but I'll use that as an example. I think it's one pump per 5 gallons or 2.5 gallons, something like that. You want an all-in-one that's not really concentrated. You want something like that. So like 1 pump per 5 gallons is going to be perfect for what you need. That's great. Now, all-in-ones really aren't great beyond that. And I'm going to pace a little bit while I talk and think. All-in-ones really aren't that great. Now, they're very convenient. Don't get me wrong. There's the ease of use and all that is totally off the charts. Now, why do I say they're not great beyond that? Well, here's why. You guys know I am a massive plant nerd. My buddy Alexander Williamson, The Secret History, my other buddy Bentley Pasco, we're all major plant nerds. And it's like a Pacific Northwest theme thing. We love our fish, but we love our plants just as much in different ways. I've been growing plants for long enough to be able to tell you that if there are two nutrients that you need to adjust up or adjust down, it's nitrogen and especially phosphorus. Okay? So, I want to talk to you about all-in-one fertilizers and why they're more often than not a good idea to use. Everything is combined into a single suspension, right? It's a liquid, an elixir, if you will, right? You're buying a single product combined in a bottle, and it says add 5 ml to increase blah blah blah, or 1 pump blah blah, right? It's usually measured in gallons. 1 pump per 10 gallons, 1 pump per 20. Very convenient. Sounds great, but in practice, often it leads to unwanted algae growth, and that's because depending on how many plants you have in your tank and whether or not you're pushing CO2 and what kind of plants you have, that's another one that's often missed. You will need to dial up or dial down your macronutrients, especially your nitrogen and your phosphorus, your phosphate source. Now, if everything is combined together in one elixir, right? Well, then how do you do that? How do you dial up your nitrogen or phosphorus, or dial down your nitrogen or phosphorus? How do you do that with an all-in-one fertilizer? Well, what you basically have to do, if that's all you have to work with, that's a bummer. What you have to do is increase everything or decrease everything. This is bad. This is very bad. You're going to, if you increase everything to get more nitrogen, you're also getting more phosphorus. Okay, that is just an invitation for algae. You're asking for it. Trust me, algae will be the result. Similarly, if you need to increase phosphorus for some reason, let's say you put you got some, what can I use? Some really rare stem plant, right? Like Hygrophila chai. That is a very challenging plant. I've been growing plants a long time. I hate that plant. You sneeze next to it, it starts dying, it falls over, it acts weird. Hygrophila chai, okay, you get a bunch of cuttings of that, you buy some. They're cuttings, they don't have roots yet. You need to get it in your aquarium and plant it in your substrate. Okay, now you had better have enough phosphorus in your aquarium. Why? Well, because phosphorus is very important for root development. It's very important for root development. Without enough phosphorus, first of all, you're not going to get enough growth overall in a wholesale fashion. Second of all, especially if you're in a situation where you need your plants to do some root development and do it quick, you definitely need phosphorus. That's kind of what it's for. It's one of the things it's for in plants. So if you're increasing your all-in-one to get more phosphorus, well, guess what? You're increasing your nitrogen now. And if you have enough nitrogen, It's an algae party headed your way. You're also increasing things like iron, and having too much iron in a system is mega not good, because you will get leaf deformities and you'll retard your plant growth, basically. So for that reason, I am definitely not a fan of all-in-one fertilizers. Never have been. Are they convenient? Of course they're convenient. It's just one thing that you dose. And there are situations, like I said, with a nano aquarium when that's actually appropriate. You just want a weak kind of diluted all-in-one, you know, 1 pump per 2.5 gallons, maybe 1 pump per 5 gallons. Anything more than that, I would avoid it, and use that for your little small nano aquariums, your 2.5s, your 5s, your weird 7s and 8 gallons, like Lifeguard. Lifeguard makes some bizarre 7-gallon, 8-gallon sizes with those slanted fronts, you know those things? Let's see what time we got, 10:34, we're looking okay. Might have to end this a little early because I got some work to do around the shop, but let's move on to part 2. Okay, the second aquarium fertilizer system, the good and the bad, is EI, estimative index. Okay, this is a system that was invented by a very sharp plant dude named Tom Barr. He knows his stuff. So what he did is he took a collection, a various collection of plants, and in a very controlled, you know, cataloged, well-documented experiment, he started feeding the plants various levels of various micro and macronutrients, and he came up with a mean average of what plants need on average to survive and to thrive. And nitrogen minimum was 10 ppm and this blah, 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 blah. He came up with all these results and rolled it into a system called estimative index. Estimative index means the index is basically where Tom Barr set the numbers, saying this much, you know, phosphorus, 2 ppm, 1.5 ppm, this much iron, this much nitrogen. As a general rule, that's kind of what you want to shoot for. And I think he also, in his original, I don't know if you call it white papers, whatever he released, I think he also kind of broke it down in, like, you know, medium, high, like different levels for each macro and micronutrient. So estimative index is this, starting where basically Tom Barr said that you should start, and then from there, you dial each macro and, if you want, micronutrient up or down individually, okay? Wow, that's great, because you can very granularly dial in each macro and micro element, or I'm sorry, macronutrient and micronutrient up or down, dial it in like, you know, laser guided precision if you want. And you can do each one independently. That is very, very good. I'm a big supporter of that. Now, here's where the system definitely loses me. It is unnecessarily easy, very, very easy. I've done it several times. It's very easy to mismix your nutrients, to mix your nitrogen, your phosphorus, your potassium, which no one really worries about that, because if you overdose potassium, who cares? You're just wasting money. It doesn't hurt anything. It's very easy to mismix your nitrogen and your phosphorus especially, and make it too hot or make it not hot enough. And then you're using your solution, you know, basically EI, you get a bunch of dry powders. And it's up to you to measure that, to weigh that out, to make sure that you're putting enough in this and mixing it and, you know, doing it all right. Because if you don't do it right, you've already failed. You've already failed. You're using something that's way too hot, or you're using something that's way too not. It's way too weak, and it's not gonna do well for you. You're gonna get algae either way. So estimative index is another one I like to touch on. It's a great system if you really, really know what you're doing, and you've been doing this for a long time, and you know you've got all your proper equipment and all of that's been accounted for. It definitely loses points on being I would say for most aquarists, for most hobbyists, I would say it's going to lose points because it is unnecessarily complex to weigh this out and weigh that out. You know, you can make it easy on yourself if you go for like 500 ml, bottles all the time, or even better, 1 liter, 1 liter bottles, because then you're figuring out everything for 1,000 milliliters, right? It's easy math. It is still, though, it's still easy to mismix something and make something way too hot, you know, and you dose your tank, you know, nitrogen, and the next day you do your micros, and you come back on the third day and everything is just covered in algae, and that's because your nitrogen was way too hot, you triple dosed it or whatever, and you basically wrecked your aquarium. You've got so much algae in there, how are you ever gonna get it off, right? That is a definite drawback of EI. If you don't like tending to something every single day and like once a week, once a month, paying special attention while you mix up a new batch of your stuff, then you won't like EI. So the third and final aquarium fertilizer system that I'm going to talk about, and this is my favorite one, this is my system that I use here, and that's what we call neo-EI, right? Pseudo-EI or neo-EI. What that is basically is estimative index, but you don't have to mix up all the powders, right? You're not mixing the powders. They're all mixed up into liquids already, and those liquids are separate. They're not combined together in a single you know, product, like an all-in-one fertilizer. It's where you're going to get your micros, right? Your micro elements, your micronutrients, if you prefer. Often there'll be some iron in the micronutrients, in the micronutrient solution, and that's because no matter what, plants do need like at least, you know, 0.01 ppm iron, something like that, at a minimum. If you don't have at least 0.01 ppm, your plants are not going to grow. They're definitely going to start dying. So there's often a very tiny amount of iron in your micros, and there's boron, there's carbon, there's manganese, there's magnesium, there's all kinds of stuff in there. Now that's one product, and then there's your nitrogen, your potassium, or your phosphorus, and then your potassium, your N, your P, your K. My favorite system is the pseudo-EI or the neo-EI system. It's where you are getting your product pre-made, the liquids are pre-made, but they're not combined together in an all-in-one sort of scenario. Now, why is that good? Well, we already talked about that. It's because it gives you the ability to dial your nitrogen and your phosphorus up or down and not touch any of your micros, not touch your iron. You're not moving or reducing your potassium. It just gives you the flexibility to really dial in nutrition for your plants and find success. Where an all-in-one is not going to do that. You're always going to end up overfeeding something or underfeeding something. I've never come across an aquarium that literally stays perfect like for a year straight using just the same dose of the same all-in-one. It just doesn't happen. You end up with a surplus of something or a lack of something that you really need, always. Like I said, EI, great, very, very powerful, also very affordable, but also super, super easy to mix up a batch that's way too hot or way too not and just really mess your aquascape up 10 times till Sunday. And finally, the pseudo-EI or the neo-EI system is definitely my favorite. In fact, the neo-EI or pseudo-EI system is in fact the Brightwell system. It's not, Brightwell didn't invent it. It's just that when they have, when they started producing their aquarium fertilizers, they recognized that these all-in-ones that combine everything together are missing the boat on the nitrogen and the phosphorus. You can't dial those in. It's impossible. You have to knock everything out of whack, up or down. So they're the ones that kind of started popularizing that. The system had been around prior. I'm not sure really how popular it was, but it was certainly around. I know because I was doing it. Looks like I have a few questions here. Let me jump in here and look for the obvious ats, the at redfish, bluefish. Yes, let me see. Let me go way up here. I don't want to miss any early birds. Okay, cool. Just trying to catch up, guys. Bear with me. Okay. Natural Aquariums with a question. Do you find Hygrophila araguaia easier than Hygrophila chai? Yes, yes, for sure. Araguaia is definitely easier than chai. Like the regular araguaia is definitely easier than chai. The problem is that, in my opinion, Hygrophila araguaia is boring. What a boring plant. I don't find the texture or the leaf shape interesting at all. I never have. I don't really understand why araguaia is kind of hangs on in popularity. I just never liked the plant that much. Kay Halliday here with a great question. Is EI dosing dependent on plant type or plant density in the tank? Absolutely it is. And that is one of the great things about EI dosing or neo-EI dosing, pseudo-EI dosing. Absolutely. If you are rocking a tank full of, I don't know, Bacopa, okay, Bacopa. All Bacopa needs is water, light, and nitrogen. That's all it cares about. It's gonna grow, don't worry about it. Now, if you're dealing with a tank that is like 100% Java ferns of some type or another, doesn't like super highlight at all, it'll grow algae, but Java ferns, and we're talking all Java ferns, no matter what the type is, loves potassium. It needs potassium. They're very potassium hungry plants, and they'll burn through potassium surprisingly fast. So you see what I mean? It depends on how many plants and what kind of plants you have in there. And if you're a little bit in the dark about, you know, how the heck am I supposed to know what plant, this plant, how much does it need of this? Is this plant kind of finicky about phosphorus? How am I supposed to know any of that? Let me tell you how, or rather, let me show you how. This book right here, my friends, written by the wonderful Miss Castleman, Aquarium Plants. You don't have to buy it from me, I'm just pointing out the book. This book is an amazing source of information. You will never go wrong consulting this book. It has tons, I mean gobs and gobs and gobs of information on just that sort of thing. Nutrition, where it comes from, I mean, you name it. It's got all that. Yes, indeed, Alejandro Williamson. It is a killer book indeed. Killer book from a killer lady. So, yes, it very, very much depends on plant type, plant load, all of that. A really good book is gonna help you out. That's not the only book on it. It's just the best one. So, awesome question. Thank you for that. Let me see what else I've got. Got a comment here, and I'm sorry I've missed a lot of comments. I've been pacing. Secret History, living in your aquarium here with a comment. Estimative index is also tricky because as your tank grows, it exponentially metabolizes more nutrients so you can mix a batch and use it for months. Yes, yes, absolutely. So let's say if you mixed a big batch, and you made a big, I don't know, 1 gallon or 5 gallons. That's not uncommon that people mix up a huge batch, a whole 5 gallons of it, and they mix it so strong, and they make it, you know, only so potent. And it works great in the beginning. They're not getting any algae. They're testing their water like crazy. They're not using a crappy nitrate test or nitrogen test. They're using a quality one, like one from Salifert. Look at that company's nitrogen tests, guys. If you want accuracy, Salifert's pretty darn good. Anyway, they're doing all that. They're measuring everything. It's great. It's great. And you know, 3-4 months in, everything kind of starts slowing down. They start getting algae where they never had algae before. What the hell? What the heck is going on? They all disclaim. Right? They all declare, what's going on here? Where am I getting this algae from? You're getting that algae because your plants are burning through their nutrition that you're allotting them every day, every other day in your EI dosing schedule. They're burning through that nutrition too quickly, leaving a nutritional desert behind, which, we've talked about this before, is fertile proving ground for algae. Algae doesn't need nutrition at all. Algae needs opportunity. That's all it needs. And it's long evolved to do that. So, that is a great comment there from Alex, The Secret History. Absolutely. It's very, very easy to burn through a big batch of, you know, aquarium fertilizer that you kind of made moderately potent. And, you know, 2-3 months later, you're like, man, this is just not cutting it anymore. So, one of its one of its advantages can also be a disadvantage, in the wrong scenario. So let's see if I have any more questions or comments. I don't think so. I think we might just wrap it up. Yeah, Kay Halliday. In fact, anyone watching this right now, if you don't necessarily have to be a high-tech planted tanker. Okay, I'm definitely a high-techer. I don't like being high-tech for the sake of being high-tech. I've grown plenty of plants with DIY aqua soil, CO2 injection that's not DIY, over really crappy shop lights that I bought at the hardware store down on the south end of the island. Wonderful plants, wonderful plants. So I like to do a lot of DIY and mix and match and do stuff like that. But I would definitely consider myself a high-techer when it comes to planted tanks. Now, you don't have to be one of those high-tech people to dose extra potassium and to make sure that you have a really solid potassium source on hand, because certain plants are very, very hungry for potassium. Again, Java ferns, perfect example of that. So let's see, we got a comment here from Danikin. I'll stick with my big cichlids, LOL, add water, feed, call it good. Exactly, that's most cichlids. There are some exceptions, but anyway. Guys, I think we're going to wrap it up there, and if I've missed anything, I really apologize for that. I don't think I missed any comments. Again, I'd like to thank Peplin Creek Aquatics and Secret History Living in Your Aquarium for their very kind super chat, super stickers. Really appreciate that, guys. I hope you've I hope you've enjoyed, rather, your time hanging out here with me. I wanted to touch on one thing. We may not continue doing... How can I say it? We may not continue doing the scheduled YouTube live streams. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to stop YouTube live streaming, and I'm certainly not saying that I'm going to stop YouTube. What I am saying is that I'm not sure that I really enjoy having a set day of the week or set time and set day of the week that I live stream during. It feels, I don't know how to put it. It feels less fun. It just feels less fun. It makes it feel a little bit like a chore, and it shouldn't be a chore. It should be fun, live streaming and YouTubing and making videos. And really, it has been, for the most part, very fun. But I gotta admit, for the last couple of months, the once a week, set time, every week, live stream thing has kind of not been fun. So I think that after this live stream, we'll continue live streaming. Don't worry there, and we're definitely going to step up our game and start releasing some video on demands. But I think that the set time and date every single week, to do the live stream, I'm just not feeling it anymore, guys. So we're going to not be doing a set time and date live stream anymore here at Redfish Bluefish. Now that brings with it a little bit of risk. There are so many people live streaming and doing videos these days that I'm guaranteed to live stream over somebody or step on someone's toes. I don't mean to, but guys, at this point, there's just too many people on YouTube, and no one person owns YouTube. So apologies in advance in the future if I live stream during a time when you're live streaming. I just really have no idea when anyone live streams anymore, if I can be completely honest with you, just because I've been so busy. So with that, I really appreciate you coming by and hanging out with me during this live stream. My name's Jason. You've been watching Redfish Bluefish, and I will definitely be seeing you guys live again soon, but it's not going to be next Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific. It's going to be at another more random time when we have more content and better content to share with you. So with that said, I hope you guys have an awesome weekend, and I wish each and every one of you peace, love, and happy fish keeping. Take care of yourselves, and we will definitely be seeing you very soon.